There's a version of Japan that tourists photograph. The temples, the cherry blossoms, the neon. That version is real. But underneath it, in the hospital waiting rooms, the parking garages, the salon chairs, and the vending machine corridors, there's a different Japan operating at a completely different standard. A version that looked at ordinary problems and refused to leave them ordinary. These are 24 ideas from that Japan, not the postcard version. The version that built a machine to sanitize library books, a room where smokers and non-smokers can coexist peacefully, and a service that will hire you a family. Let's get into it. Number 24. Rental family services. Japan will hire you. A husband, a parent, or a friend. Companies like Family Romance employ trained actors available for hire as family members, romantic partners, work colleagues, or friends. You can rent a husband for a family dinner, a father to walk you down the aisle at your wedding, a friend to attend your birthday party so it doesn't look empty, a mother to meet your actual partner's parents when your real mother is no longer alive. They maintain the role for the duration of the engagement. Regular clients have sustained ongoing relationships for years. The clients are not on the fringes of society. Many are ordinary people navigating ordinary losses, bereavement, divorce, social isolation, or circumstances where a role in their life is simply vacant. Japan has medicalized loneliness in some contexts and commercially addressed it in others. Rental family services sit firmly in the second category, a private sector response to gaps in human connection that other cultures leave completely unfilled. Whether it's brilliant or heartbreaking may be the wrong frame. Japan saw people who needed someone and built a service. It is both things at once. Number 23. Head Spa Arch. The hair washing system that redesigned the salon chair. The standard salon shampoo experience requires you to tilt your head backward over a basin, hold it at an uncomfortable angle for the wash, and hope your neck forgives you afterward. Japanese salons developed the Head Spa Arch, a contoured padded support system that cradles the neck and head at an ergonomically neutral angle above a recessed basin. The client reclines fully rather than craning. The weight of the head is completely supported. The wash can continue for an extended period without any physical discomfort, transforming what should be a therapeutic experience into one that actually is. Japanese hair salons have developed scalp treatment as a standalone premium wellness category, separate from a standard shampoo, involving specific products, targeted pressure techniques, and sessions measured in 20-minute increments. The arch is what made that category commercially viable. Comfort was the prerequisite for the service. Japan engineered the comfort first, then built an entire wellness industry on top of it. Number 22. Vein Finder. Devices. The medical tool that makes the invisible visible. A nurse approaches a patient to draw blood or insert an IV line. If the vein is difficult to locate, in elderly patients, dehydrated patients, or those with deeper veins, Japan commercialized near-infrared vein imaging devices, handheld units that project near-infrared light onto the skin surface. Hemoglobin in veins absorbs infrared light differently than surrounding tissue. A camera captures the contrast and projects a real-time vein map directly back onto the skin in visible light. First attempt success rates in hospitals using vein finders improve significantly across patient populations. Patient distress decreases. Japan looked at the fundamental discomfort of the blood draw, identified it as a visibility problem, and made the invisible visible. That is the entire solution. Number 21. Vertical car parking towers. The garage that stores cars in the sky in Tokyo and Osaka, where land costs are among the highest on Earth. Multi-story automated parking towers operate on a simple mechanical principle. You drive your car onto a ground-level platform, exit the vehicle, and the tower takes it. To retrieve your car, you insert your ticket. The tower locates your car's bay. You never enter the structure. You never navigate a ramp. The car is delivered to you. The towers solve a geometry problem that most cities address by sprawling outward. More land, more surface parking. Japan, where surface land is both scarce and extraordinarily expensive, solved it by going vertical. The same footprint that parks a single surface-level car parks 30 or 40 in a tower. The machine does the navigating. The driver stands outside and waits. Number 20. library book, sanitizing machines, cleaning what everyone has touched. Public library books pass through many hands. Borrowed, returned, placed on floors, read on public transit, handled during meals. The pages accumulate particulate matter, bacteria, and general contamination that a standard return process does nothing to address. Most library systems have decided this is simply the nature of a shared collection. Japanese public libraries installed book sanitizing machines at return desks. A returned book is placed in the machine. Ultraviolet light, directed at the pages as they are rapidly aerated, sanitizes the interior surfaces in under 30 seconds. The book returns to the shelf in a demonstrably cleaner condition than it arrived in. The device takes 30 seconds. It addresses a hygiene reality that is present in every lending library on Earth and acknowledged by almost none of them. Japan decided it wasn't unavoidable, which it isn't, as it turns out. It just took a machine and the decision to build one. Number 19. Mimikaki, Japan's professional ear cleaning parlors. In Japan, there are businesses whose entire service is ear cleaning. You arrive, recline on a treatment bench, rest your head on the practitioner's lap, and have your ears professionally cleaned over a 20 to 40 minute session using specialized tool. This is not a medical procedure. It is a relaxation and grooming service. The practitioner is trained in technique that has centuries of history in Japanese domestic culture as an intimate act of care. Parents cleaning children's ears, partners caring for each other. The commercial parlor formalizes that intimacy as a wellness transaction. The Mimikaki parlor operates in the same cultural register as a high-end nail salon or a traditional barber. It addresses a personal care need that most industries in Japan made it a bookable appointment. Clients come back regularly. The experience is, by consistent account, deeply calming in a way that resists description until you've had it. Number 18. Base isolation. Technology. The earthquake solution hiding under Japan's buildings. Japan sits at the intersection of 4 tectonic plates. Major earthquakes are not a risk profile to be managed. They are a scheduled inevitability. Japan has had decades to think carefully about how buildings survive them, and its most sophisticated answer is not in the walls or the structural frame. It is underneath the foundation. When an earthquake occurs, the ground moves. The bearings absorb and dissipate the seismic energy. The structure may experience a quarter of the acceleration that the earth beneath it does. Hospitals, the facilities most critical in the immediate aftermath of a disaster, are primary candidates for base isolation because they must remain operational the moment the shaking stops. The safety is underneath the building. Most people standing in one have no idea it's there. Number 17. Underground automated bicycle parking. The machine that swallows your bike. In Japan's major cities, a cylindrical entry point sits flush with the pavement. You wheel your bicycle up, slot the front wheel into a guide rail, press a card to a sensor, and step back. The machine takes the bike. In under 13 seconds, it descends into an underground automated carousel and disappears. To retrieve it, you tap your card. Was designed to eliminate the surface congestion of Japan's bicycle-heavy commuting culture. Rather than racks consuming pavement, the storage is entirely underground. The footprint at street level is 1 meter of concrete. The capacity below is a small car park's worth of bicycles. Most cities with bicycle congestion are building wider racks. Japan buried the problem, automated the retrieval, and returned the pavement to pedestrians. Number 16. Bottom-fill beer machines. The glass that fills itself from below. At certain Japanese bars, a glass of beer is placed on a pressurized dispenser platform. Beer enters through a valve at the base of the glass, pushed upward from below rather than poured from above. As it rises, foam forms naturally at the top where it belongs, and the glass is lifted fully poured when complete. The base valve self-sealing on removal. The bottom upfill eliminates the primary source of overfoaming, the turbulence created when beer falls into a glass from height. The result is a consistently higher liquid-to-foam ratio. Japan, a country with genuine standards for how beer arrives at the table, applied engineering to the moment of the pour itself. The glass fills from the bottom. The physics are simply better. The beer is better because the physics are. Number 15. Heated roads that melt their own snow. In Niigata Prefecture, one of the snowiest inhabited regions on Earth, roads do not need plowing or salting. They melt their own snow, well above freezing. When it circulates through pipes beneath the asphalt, the surface stays just warm enough that falling snow melts on contact. No fleet of plow vehicles, no road salt corroding infrastructure and contaminating waterways, no overnight crews. The road manages winter itself, passively, using water already beneath the ground. Japan looked at one of cold climate infrastructure's most disruptive seasonal problems and found the solution sitting directly under the ground. It needed only pipes to get there. Number 14, luggage forwarding. The country where you never carry your own bags. Japan operates a nationwide luggage forwarding network called Takyuben, typically under $15 per bag. Your luggage arrives at your next hotel before you do, sometimes the same day, reliably by the following morning. Primarily Yamato Transport, whose yellow cat logo has become as familiar in Japan as a postal symbol. What Takyuben does for travel in Japan is remove the physical burden of luggage from the experience entirely. Your belongings are waiting when you arrive. Japan solved the fundamental friction of multi-destination travel, the bag you carry everywhere, not by making it smaller or lighter, but by removing the requirement to carry it at all. Number 13. Orange juice served inside a real orange. At fruit stalls and fresh juice stands across Japan, particularly in markets and tourist precincts, orange juice arrives not in a cup or a glass, but inside a fresh orange. The top is cut away, a small juicing mechanism is inserted directly into the fruit, and a straw follows. You drink the juice from the orange that produced it. The fruit is simultaneously the source and the container. The orange rind holds the juice naturally cold. The presentation stops people mid-step. The juice is as fresh as physically possible because it was extracted moments ago from the vessel currently in your hand. No cup, no ice diluting it, no question about freshness. Japan understands that the container is part of the experience, not incidentally, but fundamentally. An orange served in a cup is a juice product. An orange served in an orange is a moment. The difference in preparation is 3 seconds and the correct placement of a straw. Number 12. Floor-level baggage scales. Weigh your bag before you join the queue. Standard airport check-in produces a consistent pressure point. You reach the desk, heave your bag onto the scale. The information arrives at the worst possible moment in the least accommodating possible space. Japanese airports and hotel check-in services install floor-level scales in baggage zones, hotel lobbies, and pre-check-in areas. The scale sits flush with the floor. You roll your bag directly onto it without lifting. The weight displays. You know, before you reach the desk, before the queue, before the pressure, whether you have a problem, and you have space and time to solve it. The floor-level scale changes when you receive information, not what the information is. Receiving it earlier changes everything about how you respond. Japan thinks carefully about where in a process information is most useful and engineers the delivery point around that rather than around operational convenience. Number 11. Ventilated indoor smoking rooms. Engineering around a conflict. The standard policy debate around indoor smoking arrives at 2 positions: permit it or prohibit it. Japan, which has both a historically high smoking rate and a hospitality culture where outright prohibition in some contexts is socially complex, engineered a third option: designated indoor smoking rooms, installed in airports, office buildings, shopping centers, and transit facilities, are sealed, negatively pressured environments with high-capacity air filtration. The rooms do not represent a compromise in the sense of satisfying neither party. They satisfy both parties functionally. The engineering absorbs the conflict between 2 incompatible preferences and makes them spatially compatible. Japan applies this principle consistently, that 2 apparently opposing needs can both be met if the engineering is sufficient to problems other cultures resolve simply by choosing one side and accepting the resentment. Number 10. Regional KitKat flavors. A chocolate bar reimagined as a souvenir system. Japan produces over 300 regional and limited edition KitKat varieties, many exclusive to specific prefectures and sold only through local shops and train station kiosks. Shizuoka gets wasabi, Hokkaido gets melon and cream cheese, Kyoto gets matcha, Okinawa gets purple sweet potato. The name KitKat in Japanese sounds close to Kitokatsu. You will surely win, making it a culturally embedded gift for students before examinations. Nestlé Japan developed this system in collaboration with regional governments and local ingredient suppliers, transforming a standardized global product into a hyper-local collectible that functions simultaneously as a gift, a souvenir, and a regional cultural artifact. Japan took a globally commoditized confectionery format and made it express local specificity so precisely that people travel to find the right flavor. That is not a marketing campaign. That is a fundamental redesign of what a chocolate bar can be. Number 9. Gachapon, the art form. Hiding inside a vending machine. Gachapon, the Japanese capsule toy vending machine, operates on a mechanism anyone can understand. Insert a coin, turn a handle, receive a plastic capsule containing a miniature object from a numbered series. That is the surface. What Japan built underneath it is something else entirely. Japanese Gachapon manufacturers, Bandai, Kyoto, Takara Tomy Arts, produce capsule series with the material and design quality of display collectibles. Anatomically detailed marine biology sets. The format became a vehicle for serious design entirely because Japan decided that the low price point, the randomness of outcome, and the miniature scale were interesting constraints rather than limiting ones. What do you make when it must be beautiful, fit in a capsule, and cost under $5? Japan has answered that question tens of thousands of times. A significant proportion of the answers are extraordinary. Number 8. Micro apartments with smart space design. When constraint becomes precision. Tokyo's housing market has produced apartments smaller than most Western walk-in wardrobes, units of 15 to 25 square meters, designed and finished with a specificity of purpose that larger apartments almost never achieve. Every wall is a decision. Every surface carries a function. Storage is built into structural elements. Beds fold into walls. Fixtures are scaled precisely to the space, not adapted from standard sizes that assume more room. The micro apartment is the physical expression of a design principle. Constraint produces precision. When you cannot add square meters, you must account for every centimeter you have. The result is that a well-designed Japanese micro-apartment often feels more functional than a Western apartment twice its size. The design concepts that emerge from extreme space constraint, multifunction furniture, vertical storage, modular organization, are among the most transferable ideas in contemporary residential design. Japan produces them out of necessity. The rest of the world borrows them because they work regardless of floor area. Number 7. Connecting calendar stamps. Physical planning completely rethought. Japanese stationery culture has produced thousands of planning tools, but the connecting calendar stamp set occupies its own category. A series of self-inking stamps produce individual date components, day blocks, month headers, time grids that align and interlock on paper to build a custom calendar or planning layout entirely from stamp impressions. No printed planner, no rigid template. Weekly grids assume a certain scale of work. Monthly layouts assume a certain type of schedule. The stamp set lets the user construct the planning architecture from scratch, at whatever scale and in whatever format the moment requires. The connecting stamp is evidence that this extends even to the structure of planning itself, not just what tools are used within a plan, but what shape the plan's container should take. Number 6. Squeezable ice cream pouches. Eating without managing traditional ice cream delivery. The cone, the cup, the bar shares one structural problem. As the ice cream melts, the experience deteriorates. The cone softens. The bar drips. The cup requires a spoon. All of them impose a consumption pace determined by temperature rather than appetite. Japan's squeezable ice cream pouch, a sealed flexible tube of soft-serve ice cream squeezed upward from the base like a toothpaste tube, changes the dynamic completely. The sealed format stops dripping entirely. The squeeze mechanism delivers ice cream at your pace rather than gravity's. The tube can be partially consumed and set aside. No cone to structurally manage. No spoon. No mess of any kind. Children work out the format in seconds. Adults encountering it for the first time tend to pause mid-squeeze and think about why this isn't the default format everywhere. The tube doesn't change the flavor. It makes the experience function the way it always should have functioned. Japan has a specific habit of noticing when something almost works and correcting the part that doesn't. Number 5. Platform screen doors. The wall that made train. Platform safe. In most metro systems around the world, the platform edge is an unguarded drop to live electrified rails. A stumble, an accidental push, or a moment of inattention is all that separates a passenger from a potentially fatal fall. Painted lines mark safe distances. Announcements warn accidents still occur. The platform screen door eliminates an entire category of incident. Accidental falls, dropped items onto live rails, and the distress of preventable accidents in high-traffic public spaces. As an additional function, enclosed stations can now be climate-controlled, since the platform is sealed from the tunnel. Safety and environmental control from a single infrastructure decision. Japan built it into its newer transit systems as standard. Other cities are adding it through expensive retrofits. The gap between the platform and the track should always have been a door. Number 4. Sliding Fusuma doors. The wall that knows when to disappear. The traditional Japanese interior uses Fusuma, sliding panel doors of wood and layered paper that divide interior spaces. Unlike a hinged door, the Fusuma requires no swing arc, consumes no floor space when open, and can be removed entirely to merge two rooms into one. A space designed around Fusuma panels functions as two distinct rooms or a single large one within the same footprint, the transition taking seconds. This concept, that a wall should be a door when a door is needed and absent when a wall isn't, is the foundational logic behind every modern open-plan interior, every sliding room divider, and every flexible workspace partition in contemporary architecture. The Fusuma preceded all of them by centuries. The insight that Japan arrived at early and lived in so long, it forgot it was remarkable. The wall's job is to divide space when division is useful and to vanish when it isn't. Every architect who has designed a folding partition or a sliding panel in the last 100 years has been working from that same principle. Japan built it into domestic architecture as a default. The rest of the world is still discovering it as an innovation. Number 3. Disaster-ready vending machines. The infrastructure that keeps working when everything else stops. Japan has approximately 5 million vending machines, more per capita than any other country. What is less visible is that a significant portion of them are engineered for disaster response. After a major earthquake or emergency event, selected machines across Japan are programmed to dispense their contents free of charge to anyone present. The trigger can be a seismic sensor, a network signal from municipal emergency systems, or a manual override by a machine operator remotely. In a major urban emergency, the kind Japan plans for as a realistic scenario, convenience stores may be inaccessible, supply chains disrupted, and infrastructure compromised. The vending machine network, running on internal power reserves and distributed across every street corner, becomes an emergency provisioning system. Water, food, and warm drinks, available at street level at no charge, already in place. The machine was always there. The disaster preparation was engineered into it without adding a machine. Japan converted existing urban infrastructure into an emergency response layer that activates automatically. Most countries have vending machines too. They just have food in them and nothing else. Number 2. Manga cafes, the private space Japan built into its cities. The Japanese Manga Cafe, Manga Kissa, is a private pod internet and media facility found throughout urban Japan. For an hourly rate, you access a small enclosed personal booth with a reclining chair, a desktop computer, internet access, and manga volumes from a library of thousands of titles. The facility provides shower access, a drink bar, light food service, and blankets. You can stay for an hour. You can stay for 12. The Manga Cafe exists as a formal, affordable, dignified short-term private space in cities where hotel rooms are expensive and public space is crowded. Japan created a commercial product that incidentally functions as a social infrastructure layer, providing privacy, shelter, warmth, connectivity, and rest to anyone who needs it on a pay-per-hour basis, available in every major urban district without requiring any bureaucratic process to access. It is a business that also quietly does something much larger than being a business. Number 1. Yuruchara. The country that gave every town its own character. Every prefecture, city, town, district, public institution, government department, transit authority, and local agricultural cooperative in Japan has an official mascot character. These are called Yuruchara, loose characters, and they range from charmingly designed to deeply, productively strange. Kumaman, the bear mascot of Kumamoto Prefecture, generates over $1 billion annually in licensed merchandise sales for the region. Funashi, the unofficial pear fairy mascot of Funabashi, became a national phenomenon despite representing a suburb of Chiba. Characters shaped like regional produce, local animals, historical figures flattened into round cartoon forms, and abstract concepts rendered as googly-eyed mascots, all of them deployed in marketing campaigns, public safety communications, and regional tourism. Japan decided that institutional identity for a tax office, a fire department, a rural municipality benefits from a face. A recognizable character that is specifically ours, from this place, associated with this function. The Yuruchara is the least technically sophisticated idea on this list. It is a drawing, a costume, a character name, but it reflects something consistent across every other entry here. Japan believes that the things people interact with every day should be worth interacting with. Even the government, even the drain authority, especially the pear fairy from Chiba. 24 ideas, a hired family, a road that clears its own snow, a vending machine that gives away food in emergencies. If one idea on this list made you look differently at something you pass every day, that's the point working. Drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.